he's gonna do something right. He's gonna do something that we haven't seen before, and that's exactly what we got. The biggest disservice this movie has, though, is that we can't watch it in theaters. I wish I could have seen this movie in a movie theater because it is grand, it is epic. But at the same time, it still feels very contained.
Hello and welcome to the movie podcast review of Prey. My name is Daniel. I'm one of your hosts today, and joining alongside me are my fellow warriors, Shahbaz.
Ooh.
Hello. I don't know what my warrior voice was gonna be, so I just went deeper with it.
You just went Shahbaz but deeper.
Shahbaz but deeper. That's
No, that's not it. That's
not it. That's pretty
not
close.
It's good. I like it.
Not
Though.
really
I like
a
it.
warrior thing to say.
Let me hear your
Well,
warrior
let's hear
voice.
it. And Anthony.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, man.
I'm
You're
your
dead
number
first.
one warrior. You pick me to do all your warrior jobs, and I'll get it done.
Yeah, dude, you're dead first, man. 100%. Predator's gonna get you and just rip out your spine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony's more like, with that haircut, he's like a Golden State Warrior, you know?
Yeah, he finds me right away. It's like, I'm gonna kill the blonde guy because
Yeah.
A, he's blonde, and B, he's white.
not in camouflage. I can see you out of the bush right now. Your head
Yeah.
is not. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Today we're going to be talking about Prey. This is a Predator prequel film that's directed by Dan Trachtenberg. But before we get to all of that, I want to ask both of you, and I'm going to get Shay to start us off. Shay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Trying to think of things that are not the weather and things that are not. I had a rough sleep last night. I was kind of in and out of sleep. Other than that, man, I'm doing great. Been going to the gym every day, so feeling good, feeling healthy. But yeah, beyond that, I would say I'm pretty damn good. We haven't recorded in a while too. It feels like it's been a long time since we've recorded, so I'm kind of getting back into the zone of things.
It's funny when you take a couple of days off recording like we have. You tend to have it's weird how much rust I guess builds up on you that you don't realize and then you're like, you start recording, you're like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna shake this off. But yeah, we technically, because we played some time travel over the last couple of days because we had a bunch of different interviews releasing on the feed, which we'll talk about very soon. We technically haven't really recorded together since 8 days ago for our our main episode of the show, which is
it's pretty long.
It's wild
That's
to
pretty
think.
long.
Yeah, I thought we
it's a long time
disbanded
for
for a minute. It's been so long. Or have we broken up?
We broke up.
Yeah,
we broke up. Yeah, we broke up. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Today's it's a special day. Today's Yeezy Day. For those of you who don't know, every year Yeezy or Kanye West and Adidas will have their day, which Kanye West I think does not appreciate this day because it's more of a commercialization of his brand and shoes. But essentially, a lot of his shoes are released, and the day we're recording is also the day Yeezys are released. So a lot of his older silhouettes are coming out today slowly through the Adidas app. So I'm kind of, if you see me go to my phone, that's me trying to cop some stuff. But other than that, I just came back from the cottage. It was nice. Spent some time with the boys, other than you guys, different boys. A friend of mine.
I didn't know Anthony had friends other than us.
I know.
This is news to me.
This
is news to me.
I'm mysterious in that way, but yeah, I have other friends than you two.
What?
And they're not that many more. It's only it's less than 10 at this point.
Are they real?
Are
they real?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they real?
I just went to the cottage on my own and just kind of sat there pretending.
It was just me and the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys.
It was pretty much the scene of in The Boys when Noir is just looking at an empty.
Oh, all the animated characters coming.
All your animated friends. Oh my God.
But no, I just came from the cottage, spent some good time there, and then I'm back with a vengeance.
Oh, okay. Now you mentioned the Yeezys, and obviously I want to try and make this connect to our review of Prey somehow. So, what shoes do you think would be the best shoes to wear if you were being pursued by an alien predator, as the one we would see in this film?
No Yeezys. I wouldn't say Yeezys.
Okay,
I probably a running shoe, a shoe
Right.
that is designed for running. So probably some
Right.
Hokas, or
Okay.
some really high, really expensive Nikes,
Okay.
Vaporfly Max 30, whatever.
Sure. So not like the
silhouette.
Yeezy slides or anything like that.
No, you're dying. You're 100%
Okay, you're
dying.
dead. Okay. All right.
You if you're gonna be a hype beast and you're gonna try to outrun a predator, you're gonna die. If you are a runner, you might have some leeway into surviving.
Okay. I was going to say like, yeah, you could like maybe have a tagline for like unleash the inner hype beast or something like that, but you can't because you can't wear these shoes if you want
No,
to
you
survive.
die. You die.
Yeah, you die. Okay, I'm glad. As always, you can catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast every single Monday. And watch out throughout the week for our review episodes and our interviews on all the latest movies and series. Make sure you're following us at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. And don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, join our Discord, and write into the show at hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca. Now, Shay, we just hit a pretty big milestone on Apple Podcasts. Please tell the world what we just accomplished.
Well, I mean, I don't know what we're at now, but last I checked, we finally broke that, elusive barrier that we've been trying to hit for so long. For years, well, 3 of them actually, we have been badgering people to get us to 200 5-star reviews. And everyone was like, "No, we're going to do one better. We're going to get you to 214." As what I
Hell
last
yeah.
checked we were at. So we're at 214 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts within Canada. That's pretty much all the population of Canada right there, I'd say.
It's true. It's true. It's
Yeah.
all of Canada that did. And realistically, it's like we've been really pushing it the last year or so.
Really have been, yes.
So it's been really amazing that we've been able to, finally hit this milestone. And, early, like a year ago when we were talking about hitting this number, it was mostly because we wanted to be able to apply to become accredited on Rotten Tomatoes. Now we hit all of their, accreditation like requirements.
Checkboxes,
so
yeah.
hopefully when we get to apply next year in March, we'll have some good news to share. So please stay tuned for that.
Hopefully.
Watch they change those numbers. They're like, now it's
Yeah.
350. I'm like, why?
It's
And it has to be in the
215.
US. Yeah. Why the US? But there's other places. It only matters when it happens in
But
America.
we have some good reviews in the US as well. And we
Oh,
have
yeah,
some great
great.
reviews on Spotify as well. So shout out to
do.
everybody that's been giving us ratings there
Yep.
and in the United States and other countries probably too. I mean, there are other countries besides the United States and Canada, I think.
I
From
guess
what
so.
I remember hearing
I guess so.
in school. But yeah.
There's some great episodes on the Movie Podcast feed that you can listen to right now. We've been really lucky over the last few months to have some really incredible special guests. Just recently, we had Flula Borg and Eva Noblezada join us from the film Luck. We had Dylan Smith from The Lord of the Rings of Power join us, who we cannot wait for that show. And then we had Boyd Holbrook and Venisu Smunia of The Sandman join us last week as well. So we've had a lot of great guests joining us. We had Dean Fleischerkamp join us too, of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. So there's lots of special guests, lots of episodes you can listen to. Also, make sure you check out our review of Nope. Go check out our review of DC Super Pets. DC League of Super Pets and The Gray Man, where the Crawdads sing. There's lots of great episodes to catch up on. I did really quickly want to mention that, we got some really cool prestige happened to the show as well in the last couple of days, because Warner Brothers, again, this is Warner Brothers in the US, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson have been, tweeting like crazy about DC League of Super Pets. And, our review was featured in it. And it's like the first time that we've had, one of our reviews in the critics trailer. Like, when you get that trailer that says critics everywhere are calling DC Super Pets, blah, blah, blah. And you have the trailer voice and, it was our review that was in there. And it was so cool to see, hilarious and heartfelt or whatever, the movie podcast. And like, it was just amazing to see that attributed to our show. And they've been, tweeting up a storm and The Rock and Warner Brothers and everything. So it's been really cool to see. How are you guys been feeling about it?
Feeling great, man. This is we had a great year of shout outs from studios. So this is kind of like, and we're discussing this recently, that we've had pretty much the major areas that we wanted. We had our reviews featured for the Batman, for Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, for Lightyear, and now Super Pets. So like, we love superhero films. We love this genre as well. And for us, for our words to be attached to these movies that we've all loved and enjoyed is, I mean, it's a dream. It's a dream come true. Really, it is.
It is. Yeah, very surreal moment.
It's nice to see like acknowledgement and what we're doing is being assured, especially when you have like The Rock and like Warner Brothers just shouting out your name. It says Daniel Batista / The Movie Podcast. It's just so official, and when you're on a commercial, it just makes it like you could have picked anyone, but you picked us. So it's amazing. Everything what we're doing is we're on the right path. So that's all I can say.
I think so. And let's continue the conversation about movies that we love, because today we are talking about Prey. Like I said, this is a Predator prequel film directed by Dan Trachtenberg. He's directed films like 10 Cloverfield Lane. What else did he direct from 10 after or before 10 Cloverfield Lane? That's the last time we saw him. We also got to see him direct. I'm blanking on it right now. Why can't I think of his
He's
work?
directed an episode of Black Mirror. He's directed an episode of
Yes.
The Boys as well. But in terms of movies, really, like there isn't much other than some small short films that he's done. But yeah, I'd say 10 Cloverfield Lane, an episode of Black Mirror, an episode of The Boys, and now we have Prey.
He directed, I think, my favorite episode of Black Mirror as well too, which was the playtest episode with Wyatt Russell.
He is a
Uh,
big gamer.
yeah, that episode really scared the hell out of me. So it's makes it. I was so happy, and I think we were all happy that we heard that he was going to be, relaunching the Predator series, and now here we are with Prey. This film stars Amber Midthunder, and it's going to be releasing exclusively on Disney Plus via Star in Canada and Hulu in the United States on August 5th. So that is this week. You'll be able to watch it at home, which we'll talk about the strategy for the release of this film and other 20th Century Studios films also in this review. But I'm going to get Shay, if you don't mind. Do you mind starting us off with the synopsis of the film?
Set in the Comanche Nation 300 years ago, Prey is the story of a young woman, Naru, a fierce and highly skilled warrior. She has been raised in the shadow of some of the most legendary hunters who roam the Great Plains. So when danger threatens her camp, she sets out to protect her people. The prey she stalks and ultimately confronts turns out to be a highly evolved alien predator with a technically advanced arsenal, resulting in a vicious and terrifying showdown between the two adversaries.
Thank you very much for that, Shahbaz. And I just want to say thank you again to our friends at Disney Studios Canada for sending us this film to review. Anthony, start us off with your first reactions.
Getting into Prey, I believe when I saw the trailer for the first time, I wasn't wowed by it, and I'm like, oh, how's this gonna work? How are we gonna tell a tale of a predator who is a technological being hunting a native and who doesn't have the technology, and it's just like, where is this story gonna go? But I was wrong. I was completely wrong because Dan did a fantastic job telling a story of this warrior versus another warrior, and the idea of this action driven plot where she is trying to be like, she's a woman, she's a native woman who's trying to become a warrior, but in her family and even in her tribe, women are considered the stay at home. You're the medicine type of caregiver. You build the medicine, you apply it to the males, but she wants to be something else. And in this case, we get Amber Midthunder, I believe her name is Naru, who showcases a level of action that we haven't seen in so long. Like she was so powerful and so strategic to be facing off this immense predator
Yeah.
who takes out a bear, takes out crews of people, and she's just like, boom boom, I'm going to become this person that everyone thinks I'm not, and I'm going to become the warrior that this tribe needs. And I think that's where this story is so simple, in the sense that you have these two beings that are trying to, one hunting the other in a sense, but it's all action driven. It's a story that just focuses on, I'm going to come and hunt you, you're going to come and hunt me, and we're going to figure out who wins. And I think that's what Predator is. Like, that's all you can really expect from a Predator storyline. And it does such a fantastic job showcasing the landscape. I think, Daniel, you said it takes place or shot in Alberta. So a lot
Yeah.
of like natural lighting, a lot of scenic, atmospheric cinematography just works with the Predator, and it also works with this timeline. I think it takes place in the 1700s, but it's just everything, the cast, the crew, the Predator itself, fantastic. I think Dan, with the budget he got and with the story he told, probably told the best Predator story that we've seen since the original Predator. Even better, I think he just elevated what we can expect a Predator to accomplish. It's sometimes when you have like a monster movie in this sense, it kind of gets cheesy, but this just felt real. It felt like when you take like Michael Myers and you told that story again, this in Halloween, it just became so serious, and there was this level of like, wow, I didn't expect it from a character like this because we're so used to it being so cheesy. That's how what I got from Prey, in the sense that we have a character that's been not great on screen. Even in the first one where it was just this cheesiness, it became super real. And that's where I'm at with this movie. It's a fantastic Predator film. I hope there are more versions of this.
I think, we see the first Predator film came out in 1987. And I think since then, they've been really trying to recapture the magic of that movie. All the Predator films have, either they've done okay at the box office. They never really lit up the box office. Like, I think like that people really had Predator as this franchise that is like this is the biggest blockbuster franchise ever. But Predator is a very known franchise, and we've seen crossover events with Alien versus Predator and things like that. So to release a film and not have the Predator name on it, this is called Prey. I think it was a really interesting move to do that. And I think I agree with everything what you said, Anthony. I think trying to do something that was completely different is what made this film successful. And I want to pass it over to Shay to jump in here and really give us his thoughts on his first reactions as well for Prey.
Yeah, I mean, this is like pretty much what you guys said here so far. This is when I first saw this trailer, and I knew that Dan Trachtenberg was attached to this, who I really enjoyed his work with 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I was so excited when he came on board to do Uncharted because I'm like, this is a gamer, this is someone who understands that world. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see his vision of Uncharted, but to know that he was attached to something like Predator, I'm like, he's gonna do something right. He's gonna do something that we haven't seen before, and that's exactly what we got. The biggest disservice this movie has, though, is that we can't watch it in theaters. I wish I could have seen this movie in a movie theater because it is grand, it is epic. But at the same time, it still feels very contained. The effects are great. The acting is phenomenal. There's just so much fun that I had in this movie that I can't wait when it comes out on Friday to rewatch it again because it's just so cool. It has all the great action sequences that I'd want from a Predator movie, and especially the last 20 minutes of this movie where it's really this big one-on-one fight. All all that you can kind of think of that would happen in a great action sequence kind of happens, but it gets elevated over and over again. There's this level of Home Alone, traps that are being kind
Yeah.
of set up, obviously, because we're in the 1700s, but it's great. It all works, it all makes sense, and it's just very cool. The way Amber Midthunder's character Anaru is able to outsmart one of the smartest creatures is so ingenious, and they set up a lot of these breadcrumbs throughout the film. So as long as you're kind of paying attention to the movie all the way through, you'll kind of realize, oh, this is why this is happening. That's why this is here, etc., etc. It's just a lot of fun, and Dan Trachtenberg is a phenomenal director, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. If they dive back into the Prey world, I would love that. I don't know how many more stories you can tell 300 years ago, but maybe if they do push it into the present or into the future, I think Dan is still a great person to kind of have on attached as a creative voice for this film franchise.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, just like what you said, Shay, I'm like, I don't know how much more we could much more time we could spend in this time period without it feeling like, okay, we've exhausted the novelty of this era. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of places you could go with it, but at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to a fight with someone versus the predator, right? And I think Amber Midthunder is a force to be reckoned with in this movie. She is so damn good, and it's just bloody and just gory, and it's one of those films that you forget because it has a modern flair to it, even though it's set in the 1700s. But it also has that like 80s just machismo that we're used to seeing, but it's always a male in the lead. But it's cool to see, like, hey, you know what? No, we're gonna have a Comanche woman in the lead of this film, and I think that's what makes this movie special is that she's so strong and she's just so confident in who she is as a character, as a protector, as someone who wants to be a warrior and protect her family and her friends and her loved ones and her tribe. I think this movie just does such a great job with it, and the visuals are beautiful. Like Anthony said, there's so much natural, like, light and just sets in this movie that you just feel like you are there and it's of that period. And I think that's something that, you know, it could get lost in a lot of movies now, and we're so used to seeing things with either CG backgrounds or green screen or blue screens. Not that that's bad, but when you're in a natural place, when you're in a forest, you feel there's a tangibility to all that. You feel like this is real. And at the end of the day, yes, it's a simple story, but I think that's what works for this movie. It's effective. And I think if you're looking to bring the Predator and bring this franchise back from, the grave, because it kind of has been for the last 20 years or so, even with, the 2000s reboot that we got with Adrian Brody. And then a couple years ago, we had the Shane Black one, which, really kind of came and went. I think this is the direction that you want to go in. I think that this movie did a great job of that.
One thing I would
Yeah,
like, sorry, Shay. One thing I would like to see, if they are going to tell more stories, and even if they do, we'll say time jumps, to still have Amber as that character, but maybe her, like, you know how like we have an ancestral type of thing, like she's the ancestor, her ancestor, and so on, generational thing, where she still plays the same powerful woman, but it's
Right.
transcended through time. And I think that's an idea to continue, because I think she was fantastic. I think her innocence, and then that warrior that builds out of that innocence, really showcases that fierceness that we got, and very
Right.
similar to Charlize Theron in Mad Max, where we see these powerful women take these action sequences and just bring them to life. I think she did a fantastic job. I think she can hold her ground in a sequel, and maybe the third one if they ever do one.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great, I think, idea to kind of move this franchise forward, and it's been done before. But what I love about it that is it works. It's in that you can kind of suspend that disbelief that sure she looks the same every couple of years, but it's okay because she's so damn good in this role.
Yep.
Why not keep pushing her forward? The movie is stunning. The movie is action packed. There's so much good about this film. I really wish I could have seen it in theaters. Like there's just I really really like this movie, and
Yeah.
man, I can't stop thinking about it.
This is the kind of movie you want to be releasing in August, where you're looking for an excuse to go to a movie theater in August. This is the movie that you would go see. And I think this movie could have done really well in August, but I also get why, maybe the studio, maybe Disney didn't want to roll the dice and release it that way. We've also seen Disney being very, um, choosing very carefully what Fox films are, or former Fox films are, getting to theatrical release. A lot of films are going directly to Disney Plus, and I was reading that if these 20th Century Studio films go to theaters because of a pre-existing contract with HBO Max, that films would have to stream on HBO Max before they go on Disney Plus. So I'm thinking Disney right now is just in the mindset, well, like, okay, instead of going a theatrical release, we'll put that money towards marketing for a home release directly on Disney Plus or Hulu. And then that way we don't have to have our properties on another streaming platform, which that's just the name of the game now. And as shitty as it is, that's just how that's what decisions are being made now, right? And that's just how we have to roll with these things now, right? Any other final thoughts on Prey before we get to our final recommendations? We're good to go. Anthony, I'm going to get you to start us off.
This is a definite watch it. If you subscribe to Disney Plus in Canada, or if you have Hulu in the States, this is a definite watch. I think a lot of people will enjoy the story. It's a short story, so it's not like you're caught up in this 2.5 hour film. It's about an hour and 38 minutes, but
Yep.
it's like I said, action driven. So from beginning to end, the story that Dan shows you and showcases is just so intricately cut that feels it feels really quick, and it's well paced, and you get a lot of information that's told throughout this hour and 38 minutes, and you're gonna have fun with it. If you're a
Yeah.
fan of Predator, if you're not and you just want an action film that's unique and something that you haven't seen in a really long time, this is definitely it. Should have came out in
Excellent.
theaters, but
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a watch it for me. I think this is the kind of movie that works so well in the summertime, and especially in August. August could feel like the Sunday of all the months, right? But I think when you have a movie like this is a great. Just let me put this on. Let me enjoy my night. Let me get some popcorn, and you have a great time. It's bloody. It's brilliant, and I think like we were saying throughout this review that Amber Midthunder is a force to be reckoned with. She is awesome, and you're gonna have a great time with it. Shay.
Same here, guys. This is a phenomenal film. It's a watch it. Amber Midthunder is great. She absolutely kills it. she is the reason why you stay in your seats to this movie, because she keeps you locked in. So definitely watch it. Dan Trachtenberg, Godspeed, man. Whatever you do next, we're gonna be there for it.
Yep. Can't wait to see what Dan does next. And as always, you can catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast every single Monday. Watch out throughout the week for all of our review episodes on all the latest movies and series, all of our interviews. We have lots more coming your way, and a lot of surprises coming in August and September. We're going to TIFF. We're going to bring you lots of coverage from that as well, too. So stay tuned for everything. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd at the Movie Podcast. And look forward to everything we have coming, because there's lots, and we can't wait to tell you more, so stay tuned for all of that. If you want to watch Prey, you could do so on Hulu in the States and on Disney Plus via Star here in Canada on August 5th, so definitely check it out. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.